Hi guys and welcome back to a new video. In today's video, I will be talking about the exciting news that Legion Remix has been officially announced, and so it's now sure that we will be getting this new feature at some point before the release of Midnight. And so I'm sure many of you are very excited about that because Legion was a very popular expansion and an expansion during which we got a lot of really cool rewards, a lot of really cool things to do in the game. And so now we will be able to re-experience all of that during this new Remix event. So even though we don't know yet for sure what rewards we will get from this event, I think we can definitely speculate based on what we got with Mist of Pandaria Remix, the previous Remix event, and based on what we know from Legion. Just as a quick reminder in terms of what we got with Mr. Pandaria Remix, so here as you can see, first of all, some of the main rewards that you were able to get for completing some of the main achievements, including some really cool toys that would give you the appearances from the legendary cloaks from Mr. Pandaria, a recolored version of the remove from the game mounts from the challenge mode, dungeon mode in Mr. Pandaria, so this was something pretty major as well. Then we had like a lot of really cool and unique and completely new transmogs and cosmetics that were added into the game just for this event. We also got some recolored version of some of the very emblematic mounts from this expansion, such as the Reigns of the Astral Emperor Serpent, which was a gold recolored version of the Astral Cloud Serpent. We then got a bunch of other little pets and also, of course, a lot of new mounts. Here, what's interesting is that most of these mounts were already in the game's files. They were just the unused versions of all these different mounts from Mr. Pandaria. Same, we also got a vendor that was selling all the rare mounts from Mr. Pandaria, including the different mounts from the raids, also the different mounts from the world bosses, and some of these other rare mounts right here. Then we also got a bunch of the different rare toys from Legion, which I think is another pretty cool category. We also had all the different heirlooms from Garrosh, but that's not really something we're going to get with this because there's not a lot of heirlooms, but we did get the Tusk of Manoroth, so this was definitely a good one as well. And then we got all the different ensembles, so here you had all the different tier sets from this expansion. You will be able normally to, you were able to buy all of them. Same with each of the different raids. So you had really all these different ones that you were able to buy. You also had all the different ensembles from the different world content. So as you can see right here, and also from the different dungeons. And with that, you had also a bunch of other cool recorders, such as, for instance, these ones right here, recorded versions of some of the sets from the last raid, Siege of Orgrimmar. Same here, this one was completely new. And then a bunch of other ones right here. And finally, we also add these different training post recorder class ensembles. But again, here for Legion, I'm not sure what version of these we will be able to get. So now let's talk about some of the potential rewards that we will be able to get. And let's start with what are, in my opinion, some of the mounts that for sure normally we will be able to get with this Remix event. So first of all, we have the different mounts from the raids. So we have, for instance, from Nighthold, this one right here, the Friendish Hellfire Core, and also the Living Infernal Core. Normally, if they're reusing the same format than Mr. Pandaria Remix, these different raid mounts will be available at a vendor. Then from Tomb of Sargeras, we only have one, and it's this one right here, the Abyss Worm. So probably we will also be able to buy this one. Then from Antorus, we have two of them. We have the Antoran Chararmed, which is a pretty cool mount overall. And then, of course, we also have the Shackled Urzul. And so I'm pretty sure these will be available at a vendor. And then from the different dungeons, we also add a few mounts. So here from the Return to Karazhan, we add this one, which is Midnight. And after that, we also add the Smoldering Wyrm, which is another one that normally you can get. So again, here from the Return of Karazhan, you can also get this mount right here. So I'm pretty sure all of these will be part of the same vendor. Another mount that I'm pretty sure they will try to bring back during this event, or maybe some other variation of the mount, is the Bloodfang Widow, which is a mount you can buy for 2 million gold from the Mad Merchant. So we'll have to see, but this was a pretty iconic mount from this expansion, so I'm sure they're going to do something around it. And I'm also sure the Mad Merchant is probably going to be back and is going to be one of these vendors selling some really cool items from Legion, and that you will need to try and find during the Remix event. Now, we can also just make a few assumptions based on all the different unused models that we have from this expansion. So here we have actually quite a lot of interesting ones from Legion that were never added into the game. So as you can see, the first ones that we're going to get, and here I'm really hoping we're actually going to manage to get them. And these are all these different death chargers right here. So first of all, we have, for instance, Mograin's Death Charger. As you can see, these look really, really awesome. We also have Nazgrim. So this is all the same model, but with different colors. We have the pale one, but I believe we got something similar at some point during Shadowlands. Then we have the purple one, the purple Death Charger. We also have Trollsbane's Death Charger, again, another awesome version of this mount, and White Mane, which is also one of my favorite ones. So I'm pretty sure we will be able to get these as mounts because, again, we got Midnight during this expansion. These ones are normally mounts you can get when you are doing, I believe, the Death Knight campaign in Legion, and at some point you can mount these different mounts, but you cannot actually unlock them as mounts. Then next to that, we also have all these different ones right here. So again, some of them were initially introduced into the game back in Legion. And so for instance, as you can see, we could have this really cool one right here. We also have this one. Again, here, there's tons of these different models that are still unused. And I do think Blizzard is definitely going to add a few of them, simply because these are very basic mounts, but the colors are pretty nice on it, and people usually like these different models. Lucid Nightmare is actually in the game. But so I really think these are going to be some of the mounts we'll be able to get. And what's interesting here is that basically these are all the bases for the different PvP mounts. So for instance, this one is the 250, this one is the 500, this one, I believe, is the 75. And so basically each time it's just with the armor and everything that they created the PvP versions. But so I think it would be a good way for people who cannot do PvP to have these really cool colors and these really cool models without all the armors on top of them. Then we also have these different rune sabers right here. So we have this new version and also the indigo version. Again, this is the one that we have in game. And then you have these two unused colors. So for me, again, it makes just sense to use these now because these are pretty cool models and it's the best time to actually add them. And especially, I think the colors are pretty nice overall. We'll also have these different Basilic mounts. So again, here, this was the reward for the Brawlers Guild during Legion. And so as you can see, this one is unavailable. But we can also definitely, I think, get some of these recorded. Especially, I really like the Laystone one. I think it looks really cool. The gray one is also pretty nice. And then we also have the orange Basilic mount. So again, this one, we'll have to wait and see because this one has been removed from the game. And so maybe it will be similar to the one that we got during Mist of Pandaria Remix that was a recorded version from the removed challenge modes mounts. Maybe it's going to be the same and we'll be able to get one of them. But for me, for sure, I think we'll be able to get more of these Basilisk mounts during this event. Then we also have the different Pale Stalker. So again, here initially we got the Illidary version right here, and then there is the black version that is also available, and then the green version. If I'm being completely honest, you cannot really see the difference too much, but still it's going to be very easy for them to just add these as well to the shop. Then we have all these different Fell Bats. Again, here using the different models from Legion. I especially love this red variant. I think it looks really cool. Then there is the spiked version. And then we have like a few different colors available. I think the brown one is pretty cool as one. Then we have the blue one. So I'm pretty sure we'll be able to get some of them. And for me, I think the red one is by far the coolest out of all these different Felbats. Then we have two new Urzul mounts that we might be able to get. So recently we got the red version with Legion Tamoking. And now probably we'll be able to get the green version, which is this one right here. And then there is also the gray version. So again, I'm really hoping we'll be able to get these models as well. And especially as they already added one recorder into the game, I think it's not really a problem to just add a bunch of others. Then we also have this blue Storm Drake. So again, we already have all of these available in the game. And I think now we'll probably get the blue one, and hopefully we'll get a few other colors because these models are really, really nice. And next to the different Storm Drakes, we also have these different mana rays. Again, these are the models from Legion, and we have tons of them already available, as you can see in the game. And so here we have three other models. We have this Fell Grey Purple one, we have the Teal Mana Ray, and finally the White Pink one, which I think looks actually really interesting. I really like this color variant right here. And finally, the two last mounts that maybe we'll be able to get from these unused appearances include the Swift Ebonweave Carpet, which is just a really normal carpet, I would say. And then you also have at the very end this other Shadow Worm, which again is just a recorded version of some of these other worms. And here we already got these ones in the game. So that would be this one right here. Now, when it comes to all the different appearances and transmogs, there are a few that, again, we can maybe have, and I think it would make sense based on what we got with Mr. Pana REMIX. So, for instance, from the Emerald Nightmare, we could get this really cool shoulder appearance right here because it's very similar to the different shoulders from Garrosh. And I think, again, these ones are pretty rare and things that a lot of players are still farming. And so maybe something you will be able to buy with one of the special currency from the Emerald Nightmare that you will be able to get during the Remix event. Next to that, during the Legion expansion with all the different class order roles, you were able to get some lesser version of the different challenge mode sets from Mr. Ponaria. And so here I'm pretty sure we'll be able to get some recolored versions of them. Again, these are not as cool as the challenge sets, but they're still pretty interesting. And so I think it would make sense, especially knowing that they are already recolored version of the original challenge sets that are available and that have never been used yet. And these ones were not hard to get. So unlike the different challenge mode sets, it wouldn't be too controversial to bring some new versions of these different class order role sets. And here, just to show you, we have quite a lot of these different sets. So as you can see here, for instance, this is the Shaman one. Then we have right here the Priest one. And I still think these are pretty nice, even though they're not as cool, obviously, as the original ones. But at least it would be great to have maybe other variants. So here again, as you can see, this is the Paladin version. Then we have the version for Demon Hunters. Again, the Demon Hunters were just created based on whatever they wanted because there wasn't any during Mr. Ponaria. Then here we have the Mage version, which is this pretty cool set. We then have the Warlock one right here. And finally, after that, we have the Death Knight set, which is this one. Let me just put it here. And so again, in my opinion, I think it would just make sense for us to have some of these during this Remix event. Then we'll probably be able to buy all these rare appearances and transmogs from the different Legion invasions. So here, as you can see, we have all these really, really awesome weapons. We already got some recolored versions of some of them through, for instance, the Time Rift event in Dragonflight. And I'm sure we'll be able to finally have a way to actually just buy these different items from a vendor because these are pretty rare and pretty annoying to get overall. So hopefully this is something that will happen. But again, these are really just speculations at this point. And maybe, hopefully, we'll also be able to get some recolored versions of some of them because these are really awesome appearances overall. And obviously, another category of items that I'm sure many of you are hoping will be brought back are all the different specific versions of the artifact weapons that you could get from the Mage Tower. So here we have a lot of these different appearances, and these are some of the coolest weapons in the game. So this is something that honestly might not happen, sadly, because again, it didn't happen during Mist of Pandaria Remix with the different challenge mode sets. And so maybe here they'll try to do the same and keep these different items still unobtainable even with this event. But maybe they will try to find a way to bring some new colors for some of these appearances, or, just a way for you to get maybe only one of them. I'm not exactly sure, but I know that this is something that many, many of you are hoping that we will be able to get back. And even though I really have my doubts, because again, in Mist of Pandaria Remix, they decided not to bring back the different challenge mode sets or recolored versions, even though we have some of them available already in the game. So again, we'll have to wait and see, but let me know in the comments if, in your opinion, it would be a good thing or not for Blizzard to bring back some of these different removed from the game appearances, or if they should really just keep them removed from the game and not bring them back during this remix event. And again, here I'm just finishing up by showing you a few more of these, but again, these different items are just absolutely amazing, and so that's probably the reason why everyone wants to have them back. So we'll really have to hope that maybe Blizzard will find a way to make everyone happy with these, even though I think one way or another, part of the community is going to be disappointed, because if they decide to bring them back, then a lot of people are going to be very mad at the fact that these were removed from the game for a long time, and now these are basically available during a very easy event. And if they decide not to bring any of them back, then people are going to say that, again, this is a missed opportunity and it's going to kill the hype behind Legion Remix. And so that would also be maybe a little bit detrimental to the success of Legion Remix, even though when you see what happened with Mist of Pandaria Remix, it still ended up being a very successful event, even though you were not able to get the different challenge mode sets. So again, we'll have to wait and see. And finally, another category of armors that I think they will maybe brought back are all these different really rare specific sets from the Argus zone. So for instance, you have the World Defenders Plate set, which is this one right here, and which is honestly really, really awesome. And they have also this version for cloth players. So again, I think these are the type of items that will be part of the different vendors, because these are pretty rare, and you will probably be able to buy these different full ensembles from some of the vendors. And then of course you have like a bunch of other sets that again will be part of all these different ensembles you will be able to buy. And these will include really all the different world drops that you could get during these expansions, and also some of the little bit like more rare sets that were only available when killing specific rares or things like that. But I think these are some of the world ensembles we will be able also to buy from the different vendors. So these are some of my guesses. Again, nothing has been confirmed yet. Maybe they're gonna rethink completely the remix event, and they're not gonna add, for instance, some of the existing raid mounts and dungeon mounts, and they're also not gonna add anything new. Who knows? But at least based on what we know from Mist of Pandaria Remix, I think it makes sense to assume that some of these different items will probably be available one way or another during Legion Remix. Let me know in the comments what you think about my assumptions, and also what you think in general about Legion Remix, and let me know if you're excited or not for this new event. I will be back very soon with more guides and more videos, and in the meantime, I wish you all a great day. Bye!